Keyboard is
At 6 o'clock? It's 6 o'clock on November 6th. We will open our meeting of York City Council with public comment. Excuse me, I did not have my microphone on. Welcome to York City Council. At 6 p.m. we will open our meeting tonight with public comment.
And the first person we have up is Corey Jackson.
Thank you. Hello, my name is Corey Jackson with pronouns he, him, his, L. I'm a dedicated resident of York who has relocated to this vibrant city with the hope of contributing to a thriving community. I reside in the 300 block of West Jackson Street, sharing my neighborhood with hardworking individuals, families, and students pursuing education. The tranquility and peace that defines our community during the week are overshadowed by disturbances that are escalating over the weekends. While I appreciate the spirit of social gatherings, the continuous disruptions caused by late-night parties, property damage, and public disturbances have eroded the sense of safety and well-being that initially drew me to this neighborhood. Despite previous efforts to address these concerns through outreach to the city officials and law enforcement, the situation persists, impacting the quality of life for residents like myself. The behavior of some of the York College students who flock to our streets, leading to noise, littering, property damage, and public misconduct, calls for urgent intervention to restore peace and order. I implore you to consider the detrimental effects of these ongoing disturbances on our community and the urgent need for collaborative action. Engaging with York College authorities to reinforce student policies, enforcing noise ordinance, and allowing other resources for monitoring and intervention will be crucial steps in fostering a safe and harmonious environment for all residents. As a homeowner, I have invested in the well-being in our neighborhood. I seek your support in addressing these pressing issues and initiating positive change. Together, we can create a community where residents can live, work, and learn in peace. I do thank you for your attention in this matter, and I look forward to some swift action in resolving these challenges.
Thank you, Corey. We'll refer this to administration for their attention.
Thank you.
Are there any other public comments? With that, we will call our legislative meeting to order. Madam Clerk, we call the meeting to order at 6:03 p.m. Will you call the roll?
Okay, Bub,
Here.
John Askew,
Here.
Dennis,
Here.
Buckingham,
Here. Please stand for the Pledge of Allegiance, followed by a moment of silence.
I
Pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Okay. We move on to action on previous meeting minutes from October 15th. Do I have a motion to approve the minutes?
Motion to approve.
second.
It's been moved and seconded to approve the meeting minutes as presented from the October 15th, 2024 meeting. All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Any opposed? Thank you. We have no presentations or awards or announcements that I'm aware of. No? The next legislative meeting is of council will be held on Tuesday, November 19th at 6 p.m. in council chambers. Agenda items are due by 12 noon on November 13th. There are no reports from prior committee referrals. And we will move on to the legislative agenda. First on our order of business is a subdivision and land developments, a resolution. And I think we have Joe Stein here.
We have to introduce and have to read it
Okay,
first.
excuse me.
All right, so who would like to introduce that in her place?
Introduced.
That's resolution number 100, introduced by Betsy Buckingham, whereas Wellspan Warehouse, Joe Stein submitted a revised land development stormwater plan, ENS plan, PCSM plan, and stormwater calculations for the property at 101 South George Street, and whereas the applicant is requesting the following subdivision land development ordinances pending final review of engineers, approval for the revised stormwater plans, ENS plans, PCSM plan, and stormwater calculations, and whereas the plans are in accordance with the city's ordinances, and whereas the city's officers have recommended conditional approval of the revised land development stormwater plans, and whereas the planning commission recommended approval conditioned upon outstanding engineers' review comments being satisfied of the plans at its meeting in October. Now therefore be it resolved that the action of the Planning Commission in recommending approval of the waiver for the subdivision land development plan submitted by Wellspan Warehouse Joe Stein is hereby affirmed.
Hey, good evening, everyone. Joe Stein, Civil Project Director and at Warehouse and Project Manager for this project. This was before you previously, maybe a little over a year ago, and land development plan was approved. What had happened through the process of final budgeting, so this is the surgical and critical care tower at York Hospital, a very huge improvement project, a very costly one. And through the final budgeting, there was some need to value engineer some of the items out that impacted the stormwater management. So to orient you, at the top of this paper here is Irving Road. Some of the existing buildings down here, South George Street would be down past the podium. The orange stripes here previously represented roof that had a green roof that was going to manage the stormwater requirements in accordance with the city's stormwater management ordinance. That is a very expensive approach to managing stormwater, and it was removed from our process here for budgetary concerns. And what we're doing now is over in these two green areas, so at the south end, West Drive is being relocated. That connects George Street, comes up past the emergency department, and then brings you ultimately up to Irving Road. So in that green area, we are proposing 2 rain gardens with underground storage to transfer the stormwater management capabilities from the roof to the ground level. And in meeting with staff, when that decision was made, the recommendation was to reprocess a land development plan. So nothing else with the building has changed. It's really just a function of changing the stormwater management approach, and that's what we're here before you this evening to get approved. So if you have any questions, I'd be glad to answer them.
I do have one question. Sure. Accordingly, it says that the city planning recommended approval conditional on an engineer's review.
Yes.
At an October 14th. Has that happened?
Yes, so the city's engineer has reviewed the plan. There's a couple administrative level comments. We needed NPDS approval from the County Conservation District and PADEP. That has been received. We have to file a new operation and maintenance agreement, basically which commits Wellspan York Hospital to maintain the BMPs, the best management practices, which are those rain gardens, in accordance with the design criteria. And so some of those administrative items were still pending an approval from the council as well. So yes, we will have a conditional approval this evening, and we will work with staff to make sure that they have everything they need before releasing the plan for recordation with the county office.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
Are there any other questions or comments from council?
Yep. Okay. Just to get a sense of it, how much rainwater were you expecting the roof to handle? And to understand what's changing, can you just briefly talk about how that summarily, sort of, was that going to be a green roof across all the new buildings or one building? And even a green roof, I assume, has some drainage off the roof, and was that planned for downspouts and gutters and such? And the new area, is it large enough to handle the capacity? Because sometimes we get massive rain. So is there sufficient capacity to handle overflow should we get some kind of crazy hurricane?
Sure. So your ordinance and the MPDS requirements mandate that we control the rate, volume, and water quality from a pre-development to a post-development condition. And so in this place previously was Ketterman Hall and South Hall. There was no stormwater management. There was conveyance that essentially went down to the pond that's on the south side, on the west side of the helipad down towards George Street, which has become Spring Garden Township. So Spring Garden Township has been aware of these changes and in the process throughout the whole period of design and permitting. So when we were looking at this, I think we were around 6,000 to 7,000 cubic feet that we had to address from a volume perspective. And from a rate perspective, we're mandated to address everything from the 2 through 100-year storms. So that includes those larger rainfall events. And that volume of water that would fall in all the design storms that the ordinance requires us to analyze would have been addressed on the green roof. Since we're no longer taking care of that in the orange area. Now, we still have a green portion of green roof here and a portion of green roof here that you see on this landscaping plan that will remain, that has outdoor seating, benches, trees, nice vegetation on the ground cover. But what we did was we took all of that management area that is here in the orange and located in those. And it looks like, you had this broad, tens of thousands of square feet of roof, but the depth of that was really minimal. And so what we do is when we put it into the rain garden, we have ponding depth and we have underground storage. And your city engineer has been reviewing that. The County Conservation District has approved it. And again, the city engineer reviewed it and is signing off on it. So it's an apples to apples switch. It's just a different methodology of how we manage it.
Okay, the underground storage, is that permeable or is it not? And if it's permeable, that's...
We have a little bit, admittedly, we're like 20 feet below what the grade was out there, so we're down into bedrock. It is a fractured shale type, so you will get some infiltration. It's not the level of infiltration that was desired when you have good soil at the ground surface level, but we are promoting some infiltration. We also have a underground facility in the level 2 drop off, which is not colored, but that's down here. That's a new area that also has underground. So we are managing the volume, which is the infiltration, and then certainly we're controlling all the release rates as well.
Okay. Thank you. I'm a fan of green roofs. I'm sure you are because you initially proposed it, and so I'm glad to see that you're able to maintain some of the green roof, and that's it. Thank you.
You're welcome.
Any other comments or questions from council? Any questions or comments from the public? With that, will you call the roll?
Bub,
Yes?
John Askew,
Yes.
Dennis,
Yes.
Buckingham,
Yes. So there are no final passage of bills or resolutions, so we'll move on to new business. And the first is introduction of bill
37,
number 37.
and that was at Queen, if you wanted to.
Oh, so introduced.
Bill number 37, introduced by Betsy Buckingham, a bill amending the fiscal year 2024 budget for the Health Bureau by appropriating additional revenue and expenditures in the amount of $35,655.94 associated with community development block grant funding through the Housing Bureau to support the Healthy Moms, Healthy Babies program.
Are there any comments or questions from council?
Introductions.
So this will sit. This is an introduction, and it will sit till our next meeting. Next, we have the introduction of Bill number 38, so introduced.
Introduction of Bill number 38, introduced by Betsy Buckingham, a bill amending the fiscal year 2024 budget for the Fire Department by appropriating additional revenue and expenditures in the amount of $25,000 associated with a grant from the Office of State Fire Commissioner for a new Havoc system for Fire Station 2.
And that will sit. I don't have to ask for comments, do I? No, that will sit. Next, we have the introduction of Bill number 39, so introduced.
Bill number 39, introduced by Betsy Buckingham, a bill amending the 2024 budget in the amount of $75,000 associated with a grant from the U.S. Conference of Mayors to expand digital literacy access for justice-impacted individuals through the Talent for Tomorrow Digital Equity Challenge Program.
And that will sit. Next, we have introduction of Bill number 40, so introduced.
Bill number 40, introduced by Betsy Buckingham, amending the 2024 budget by appropriating expenditures from ARPA for the York County Planning Commission's Lead Hazard Reduction Capacity Building Grant Program in the amount of $75,000.
And that will sit. Next, we have introduction of Bill number 41.
So introduced.
Bill number 41, introduced by Felicia Dennis, a bill amending the fiscal year 2024 budget for the Recreation and Parks Bureau by appropriating additional revenue and expenditures in the amount of $25,000 associated with a grant from the Pennsylvania Department of Conservation and Natural Resources for plan and design costs associated with the parks master plan.
And that will sit. Next, introduction of Bill number 42.
That would be, again, if you want.
Oh, yes, so introduced.
Bill number 42, introduced by Betsy Buckingham. And that is amending the fiscal year 2024 budget by appropriating additional revenue and expenditures from the Family Health Council of Central PA for the Women's Health Services in the amount of $15,000.
And again, that will sit. Next, we have introduction of Bill number 43.
So introduced.
Bill number 43, introduced by Teresa Jonescu, a bill establishing Article 196 Tax Forgiveness Review Committee of the Codified Ordinances.
That will sit. Introduction of resolution number
That would be Resolution 101.
number 101.
So introduced.
Resolution number 101, introduced by Teresa Jonescu, and that is a resolution establishing the application fee for forgiveness of municipal real estate taxes in the amount of $50.
We do this, we vote on this.
We, fee resolutions sit for one meeting.
Okay, excuse me, thank you. We had a little change of order tonight rather quickly, so apologize for that. So that will sit for one meeting. Next, we have resolution number 102.
So introduced.
Resolution number 102, introduced by Teresa Jonescu. And I believe there's a motion to amend before I go further with this resolution.
Right, there's a motion to amend. I'm actually on here in item number 4 as an appointment to the York City Park Conservancy Board, and I think we need to wait until, for the Conservancy to initiate the process before that's moved forward. So we want to remove item number 4 from the resolution.
Okay. There's a motion to amend by striking number 4 of Resolution 102. Is there a second?
A second.
All in favor say yes.
Yes.
Opposed, no. Okay. And that is Resolution Number 102, introduced by Tracy Jonescu, a resolution consenting to the following: the reappointment by the Mayor of Joanne Wilmore as a member of Downtown Inc. to serve until the first Monday of January 2030, reappointment of John Kleindenz as a member of Downtown Inc., which term shall expire the first day, of January 2030, reappointment of Julian Tolbert as a member of Downtown Inc., which term shall expire the first day of January 2030, reappointment of Lisa Welty to the Civil Service Board, which term shall expire the first Monday of January 2029, reappointment of Dennis Kunkel as a member of HARB, which term shall expire the first Monday of January 2030, and reappointment of Franklin Williams to the Zoning Hearing Board, which term shall expire January 1st, 2030.
Move for a vote?
There's a motion. Is there a second?
Second.
Okay. Any questions or discussion?
None.
Are any of the,
No.
Yeah, there it is, from reappointments. Yeah, they don't.
okay,
Okay, any comment from the audience? All right. There being none, I will call for a vote. Bub,
Yes.
Jonescu,
Yes.
Dennis,
Yes.
Buckingham,
Yes. And that carries. And next, we have resolution number 103,
and that's introduced by you.
introduced.
Okay, and that's Resolution 103, introduced by Betsy Buckingham. Be it resolved that council hereby approves the following contracts for health insurance services. Contract for services as proposed by Vision Benefits of America for vision insurance coverage for the 25-26 year. Services of EPLS for prescription consulting for year 2025. And a contract proposed by Mutual of Omaha for basic term life and AD&D voluntary term life and AD&D coverage for 2025 through 2027.
Do we have any questions or comments from council?
None.
I would just spell out AD, for the public who's watching, AD&D is accidental death and dismemberment insurance policy. Could we get the administration to speak to whether these are consistent with previous years, if costs are increasing or decreasing, or if anything was negotiated, or any comments on why these have been chosen?
Vision Benefits America has been our vision insurance coverage carrier for at least 15 plus years. I believe the rates on that stayed the same. There's no increase or decrease for that. EPLS, we started using them, it was beginning of last year. They assist us with finding alternate funding sources for high-cost prescriptions, and they work with the membership to see what options are available to them in lieu of it going directly through our prescription plan. At what point we would pay a higher amount for it, and the member would then pay their copay. When EPLS gets involved and they can find it sourced at a lower price, then we both win. So this is just an update to their agreement for this year. And then Mutual of Omaha, this is new. This is replacing, we had the standard for the city, all the employee groups, either through collective bargaining or the policy in place. The city does essentially pay for a basic term life policy with accidental death and dismemberment. And then we also offer essentially voluntary supplemental life policies for the employees to elect. So this was actually, our broker bid out for it, and Mutual said they were interested, and this is actually a savings for us compared to what we had been paying and what the standard had proposed for this year. So we're looking forward to making that change.
Thank you.
Thank you. Can you give me a little more on EPLS And since it's a consulting agreement, do you go to them to ask for their services on a regular basis, or is it ad hoc, or how's the work initiated?
Sure. I mean, the entire agreement is attached, but essentially they work with our carrier TrueRx in order to essentially when high-cost medication comes through, then it immediately gets flagged in TrueRx and communicated over to EPLS. Their folks then reach out immediately to the membership and work with the membership and their providers in order to find an alternative source. They will, of course, fill normally for 30 days by that process. No one misses out. There's no lap in their medication. And then they will then source the drugs and provide it to them directly, either through the source that they're getting them. Sometimes it's international, sometimes it's local, sometimes it's using one of the drug manufacturer's programs. But they initiate that and work directly with the members. If for some reason they are not successful, then they throw it right back to our prescription plan to be processed as usual. So we don't actually, administratively, they're worked right into the process. So they only reach out to us if for some reason they're having difficulty getting a hold of somebody or something like that. But past that, they work directly with TrueRx and our membership.
Super. Thank you for trying to find an efficiency and a way to save money. So thank you for
I
that.
can tell you for EPLS, it works because they called me multiple times and I thought it was fraudulent. I didn't know who they were and I just kept ignoring them. So they just persistently kept calling. So I finally called back. They kept saying, you know, we can get you cheaper medication. So I contacted HR and Helen told me that, yeah, they were legitimate. And so I worked with them and I mean, they got me my medication quickly. I think it was sent FedEx and it was half the cost. So it works. They're great so far.
We're very happy with them.
Thank you. Any questions or comments from the public? Madam Clerk? Oh, Joe. Hi, Joe.
Yeah, I just wanted to come tonight because as we're finalizing the budget and everything, things are coming up. And yes, I read all those proposals because on those proposals are the revenue codes and the expense codes that I have to enter into our accounting system to do it. I would ask that you consider maybe re-examining some of your approval procedures because tonight there was something on the agenda. We had written a grant for it. The grant's already gone out. The money has already come in. The contract has already been written. The project is already completed. And so it's like, well, why are we approving this now? It should have been approved a long time ago at the beginning of the process when they decided this was an option for generating some funds for the money. The second thing that I would ask that we be a little bit more careful with the way we categorize things in our budget. This very day, I got questions from the state going, well, do you have an idea, I got questions from the county about how much funding do you actually get from the state? Well, one would think that you could look really easily at our budget and figure that out, but you can't because we're not consistent, I have a witness here, with how we code things, whether there is money from the state, whether there's money from the feds, whether there's money from the county. We need to be consistent and not use something that I say that we're using all the time, and it's called miscellaneous revenue. Issue, I'm sure, can figure out pretty quickly. The auditors don't like that.
Excuse me, is this real? I don't think this is related to this item that we have on the table to vote on. Is this?
We're talking about prescription
We're talking about
I'm sorry, I
approving.
thought you, I just.
We want to hear what you have
General
to say.
comment.
We want to hear what you have to
I'm sorry, I
say.
jumped the gun.
So let us take care of this business, and there is an opportunity for you to continue this conversation.
Okay.
Okay?
It's pretty much over.
Okay.
I will stop, just, I think you're aware of my issue and what I'd like to see us address.
Right. Thank you. I thank you. Sorry. So are there any public comments related to resolution number 103 from the public? Madam Clerk, would you call the roll?
Bub,
Yes.
John Askew,
Yes.
Dennis,
Yes.
Buckingham.
Yes. There are no requests for future,
Oh, we have a supplemental agenda.
oh, we do have a supplemental agenda. Excuse me. So this would be resolution number 104.
All right, so with a supplemental agenda, I'm not sure if the new council members are aware, but we have something called Rule 215, which is a Resolution 215 in 1969, which stipulated that resolutions, anything for the agenda has to be received before the Saturday. Okay, you're familiar, okay. So if it's not received before the Saturday, then you have to waive that rule. You need 4 votes in order for it to go on to be introduced tonight. If not 4 votes, then it sits. I'm just telling you, they need it. So we need all of you to vote yes. I'm just saying. Okay, so is there a motion to waive Rule 215?
So moved.
Second.
Okay, Buckingham, seconded by Dennis. All in favor of waiving Rule 215, say yes.
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 Opposed, no. Okay. And that's resolution number 104, and that is a resolution approving the 2025-2029 Consolidated Plan, Fiscal Year 2024 Annual Action Plan, and Citizen Participation Plan. So that's introduced by you probably.
Yes, so introduced.
And there you go. That's what we're introducing. All right, so we have Ms. Jada Richardson, Bureau Housing Services Director at the podium. Thank you for joining us tonight.
Thank you. Good evening, Council.
Good evening.
So what you have in front of you is our consolidated plan and our annual action plan that's combined, as well as the citizen participation plan. The consolidated plan is a document that HUD requires us to do every 5 years to set the priorities for our federal funding. The annual action plan is essentially an update to that plan, but we have to do that annually. So to prepare these plans, we conducted 8 stakeholder sessions. Some of you participated in those over the summer, which were attended by 125 city residents and stakeholders. We did extensive research in the community to really understand where we need to be focusing our efforts. And so if you read the plan, you'll see kind of what we're trying to do with our funding, which is really a lot of what we've already been doing, providing down payment assistance for first-time home buyers, supportive services for people trying to improve their financial situation, and so on and so forth. And then you also have the Citizen Participation Plan with you, which is a document that guides our efforts to inform the public about the work that we're doing. And we also submit that to HUD to let them know that we're doing our part to keep residents informed. So that's essentially it. Do you have any questions?
Nope.
No?
Any questions from members of the public? All right, there being none, I will call for a vote. Bub,
Yes.
John Askew,
Yes.
Dennis,
Yes.
Buckingham.
Yes.
Thank you.
My apologies for forgetting that item. Overlooking it. So we have no request for future meetings. Is there any council comment shared?
Hi. This is mostly philosophical. I just want to remind people when they have free time to read. Read history books. Go to the York County History Center. On November 16th, there's an event about the Articles of Incorporation. Sorry, Confederation. Thank you. They do this every year. We should all, as city residents and beyond, I would love us all to learn about York's role in the creation of the United States. I'd just like to say, learn as much as you can, as early as you can, because the older you get, the less time you have for reading, and I miss it personally. And so that's why I just wanted to share that. I would like to shout out to Mainiko Oho and Claire Toomey for their comments on Facebook today with regard to politics and government. I find them inspiring. And I just want to remind kids and young people to take an active role in your education, because your best chance at success is your education. And I know we've got a great school district that tries really hard. And I just want to, I think the relationship that the administration and the school district has can be strengthened, or maybe it's strong enough, but I think we are all York citizens. We want the best for our kids, and I just want to encourage it on behalf of myself. So, thank you.
I do have something to say. It's pertaining to, I'm not sure if we could put something out, or pertaining to like electric heaters, safety-wise, for our residents. Them plugging them in. I know we have an influx of Haitian families that might not be acclimated to how that works, and to kind of keep down on fires breaking out with large families being affected. It was just a conversation that I had with a resident and a business owner, actually, that maybe we could kind of put that out and maybe do some type of print up from the city to go to the residents like we usually do with other stuff. Yes. Sure.
Yes.
So the Health Bureau has worked with the fire department, and we, a small gesture is that we work with them to have what you should do in the case of a fire. I know it's
Yes.
not proactive, but we did help create some door hangers because we have a Haitian Creole person in
Yes.
our department. And made sure that was in Haitian Creole, because we found that there had been a fire and people just did not know what to do. So we are working, we also, when we are in the homes, we are in the homes a lot through our maternal child health program and through lead inspections and so forth. We are constantly educating families all the time, especially those who are new to our community and those who are non-English speakers. So
That's great. That's good to know. I appreciate that.
Thank you.
Yeah, that's just a large concern, that just because they're moving here and they don't know a lot about different things. And so, thank you, Health Bureau, for assisting with that. So that's something that I want just to mention, so we don't see, you know. Thank our fire department. Thank our fire department as well. Yes, whoever is involved, thank you. Thank you.
Any other council comments? Administrative comments? This meeting is adjourned at 6:38 PM. Thank you for coming.
Thank you.